The beauty of owning your own turf is that you can do whatever you want to do with it. Your domain name is your domain. You don't have to make compromises. Build a good domain name, keep it clean, and eventually it will be its own currency. Whether people show up or they don't, you're out there doing your thing, ready whenever they are. Open up your cabinet of curiosities. The problem with hoarding is you end up living off your reserves. Eventually, you'll become stale. If you give away everything you have, you're left with nothing. This forces you to look, to be aware, to replenish. Somehow, the more you give away, the more comes back to you. Paul Arden. Don't be a hoarder. If you happen to be wealthy and educated and alive in 16th and 17th century Europe, it was fashionable to have a wonder chamber, or cabinet of curiosities, in your house. A room filled with rare and remarkable objects that serve as kind of external display of your thirst for knowledge of the world. Inside a cabinet of curiosities, you might find books, skeletons, jewels, shells, art, plants, minerals, taxidermy, specimens, stones, or any other exotic artifact. These collections often juxtapose both natural and human-made marvels, revealing a kind of mashup of handiwork by both God and human beings. They were the precursors to what we think of today as the modern museum, a place dedicated to the study of history, nature, and the arts. We all have our own treasured collections. They can be physical cabinets of curiosities, say living room bookshelf full of our favorite novels, records, and movies, or they can be more like intangible museums of the heart, our schools, our schools, lined with memories of places we've been, people we've met, experiences we've accumulated. We all carry around the weird and wonderful things we've come across while doing our work and living our lives. These mental scrapbooks form our taste, and our tastes influence our work. There's not a big of a difference between collecting and creating as you might think. A lot of the writers I know see the act of reading and the act of writing as, as existing on opposite ends of the same spectrum. The reading feeds the writing, which feeds the reading. I'm basically a curator, says the writer and former bookseller Jonathan Lethem. Making books has always felt very connected to my book-selling experience, that of wanting to draw people's attention to things that I liked, to shape things that I liked into new shapes. Our tastes make us what we are, but they can also cast a shadow over our own work. All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste, says public radio personality Ira Glass. But there is this gap. For the first couple years you make stuff, it's just not that good. It's trying to be good. It has potential, but it's not. But your taste, the thing that you got into the game, is still killer. Before we're ready to take the leap of sharing our own work with the world, we can share our tastes in the work of others. Where do you where do you get your inspiration? What sort of things do you fill with head with? What do you read? Do you subscribe to anything? What sites do you visit on the internet? What music do you listen to? What movies do you see? Do you look at art? What do you collect? What's inside your scrapbook? What do you pin to the corkboard above your desk? What do you stick on your refrigerator? Who's done work that you admire? Who do you steal ideas from? Do you have any heroes? Who do you follow online? Who are the practitioners you look up to in your field? Your influences are all worth sharing because they clue people into how you are and what you do, sometimes even more than your own work. You're only as good as your record collection, DJ Spooky. No guilty pleasures. I don't believe in guilty pleasures. If you are f-king like something, like it. About 20 years ago, a trash man in New York City named Nelson Molina started collecting little bits and pieces of art and unique objects that he found discarded along his road. His collection, the Trash Museum, is housed on the second floor of the sanitation department garage and on East 99th Street, and it now features more than 1,000 paintings, posters, photographs, musical instruments, toys, and other ephemera. There isn't a big unifying principle to the collection, just what Molina likes. He gets submissions from some of his fellow workers, but he says what goes on the wall and what doesn't. I tell the guys, just bring it in and I'll decide if I can hang it. At some point, Molina painted a sign for the museum that reads Treasure in the Trash by Nelson Molina. Dumpster diving is one of the jobs of the artists, finding the treasure in other people's trash, sifting through the debris of our culture, paying attention to the stuff that everyone else is ignoring, and taking inspiration from stuff that people have tossed aside for whatever reasons. Notice, do not dump rubbish or garbage. More than 400 years ago, Michael de Montaigne, in his essay on experience, wrote, "In my opinion, the most ordinary things, the most common and familiar, if we could see them in their true light, would turn out to be the grandest miracles and the most marvelous examples. All it takes to uncover hidden gems is a clear eye, an open mind, and a willingness to search for inspiration in places other people aren't willing or able to go. We all love things that other people think are garbage. You have to have the courage to keep loving your garbage, because what makes us unique is the diversity and breadth of our influences. The unique ways in which we mix up the parts of culture others have deemed high and the low. When you find things you genuinely enjoy, don't let anyone else make you feel bad about it. Don't feel guilty about the pleasure you take in the things you enjoy. Celebrate them